In London's Westminster today, Lord Malloch-Brown gave further evidence about global security in relation to Afghanistan. Speaking to parliamentarians at a special select committee, he said the original mission to counter terrorism had not changed. It had just been deepened to help rebuild the country, to offer greater security both in Afghanistan and internationally.
The difficulty is that you can eliminate individual terrorists, but if you leave a country as a failed state and a seedbed for renewed terrorism, you leave your job unfinished. So, perhaps the early statements of the mission were two-dimensional, one-dimensional, if you like. But I think the objective of leaving an Afghan government which is representative of its people and able to offer security to its people and offer to the world a secure state which will not be a source of future terrorism, is, if you like, an extension of the mission, but not a change of mission.
He went on to say the resurgent threat of terrorism was greater than first thought.
We knew there was an insurgency that needed to be contained, and in that sense, that was the rationale for the deployment. As always with these kinds of actions, you hope that you can do it through what you term a peace support, but you've got to be ready to up your game and up your commitment if that initial strategy doesn't work. And so I think we remain consistent with the objectives that took us into Helmand. The purpose remains the same. The task has proved a lot harder than we originally estimated.
Next, a question about whether the UK's strategic objectives in Afghanistan of strengthening democracy and helping Afghans achieve greater prosperity are an open-ended commitment.
When we talk about strengthened democracy, what we practically mean is an election which is accepted by the great majority of Afghans as a credible test of their leadership, and whoever wins it has a mandate that people accept is genuine and real. Now, so it's not a 10-year Westminster Foundation program to fine-tune democratic procedure, but it's already, though, what I've just described, although a practical, if you like, project-like task, is not a straightforward or an easy one, and it poses a challenge. Similarly, on the improving the life, the anti-poverty objective you mentioned, as you've heard the figures often cited of the extraordinary improvements that we've had in basic development outcomes of 6 million kids in school versus 2 million in 2002, and how a third of the students are now girls, how 83% of Afghans live in areas which have basic healthcare assistance. So again, I think actually on some of these very basic development goals, we've made some significant progress because, Afghanistan was literally the very bottom of the Global Human Development Index, and now we're kind of starting to kind of nudge it up a bit.
He said the work of British troops had to continue to be combined with a political military strategy to tackle the insurgency.
We cannot solve this through that classic counterinsurgency equation in terms of ratio of troops to population. And that is another reason why we need a political military strategy. We have to use our military presence to put pressure on the insurgent elements to the point where we create conditions for successful reconciliation by the government with elements of society who currently appear to support the insurgency.
He said the key focus now was on training the Afghan army to create better Afghan security forces and provide the only credible long-term solution on the security front.
I think we've in fact got about 60 personnel, some of them military, working on